Alrighty. Good morning, good afternoon. How are you doing? Hey Machaku, how are you doing? I hope I'm getting your name right. I keep saying it all the time, but I hope I get it right. Let me know. Hey Stefan, good morning. Hope you're well. Hey Neymar, happy Monday, happy June, happy trading. Absolutely. Hope you're well. We'll get started in a minute. Just want to check that you guys can see me okay, hear me all right. And it's all working fine. I think we're connected on all platforms. Yes. Hey Matt, good morning. Hope you're well. Alrighty, super. And yes, today is the 3rd of June. Half the year is gone. Half the year is gone. It is the 3rd of June, Monday. So brand new week, brand new month. Looking forward to a well, same good trading, right? Not brand new levels of trading, but same good trading that we've been doing consistently through the first half of the year and all the time that you've been trading before. Hey, Ju Marinas, good morning. Hope you're well. Right, if you are new to the session, do drop a message and say hi. Let me know where you're joining us from. And for all the regulars, a big welcome back. Thank you again for joining me on this daily market analysis. If you have any questions at any point in time, please feel free, put it into the chat and let me know. And you can help me out massively by remembering to click on that like and subscribe button if you have not already. I know most of you are very good at clicking that thumbs up button, but for those who have not, do help me out. Click that little thumbs up button. It kind of helps. It should help. It will help. You just have to do it first. All right. Hey, Augusto. Good afternoon. How are you doing? Right. We had the core PCE price index for the US on Friday last week. We'll have a quick look at that when we get started. And today seems to be a little bit quiet, but we are setting up for a big week ahead with a couple of news. I'll do a quick preview of that together with you guys. Okay. Hey Nev, good morning. Hope you're well. Now, a quick disclaimer. Any information contained on this webinar should not be construed as advice and is presented as educational material only. Please do your own due diligence, as the contents of this webinar are not intended to be a recommendation to trade a financial product, as your objectives, financial situation and needs has not been considered, and you should consider its appropriateness to your circumstances. Right, now with that done, take that away. The Kiwis, New Zealand is on a bank holiday today. Right, apart from that, whole bunch of news, a whole bunch of PMI news, especially in the Eurozone and in the UK, to be released today, with also the US manufacturing, ISM manufacturing PMI to be released as well. We'll talk about that shortly. But what has happened since the last time we spoke? Hey, Angel Case, good morning. What has happened since the last time we spoke? We did have the Euro CPI release, Euro CPI flash estimate year on year. It was a 2.4, as expected 2.5. It got released at a 2.6, a little bit higher than expected, a little bit higher than previous on release. This was at 5 p.m., an hour after our stream on Friday. Was it an hour? Yes, an hour after our stream on Friday. Slightly higher, what we saw on the euro. We'll get to that. On the euro, following the release of that news, I'll show you on the right there. That's the 5 p.m. candle there. I'll move it one before. All right, it shot up or pushed up higher from a 108.34 up within the hour to 108.47, and then continued higher as the dollar weakened with the core PCE price index. So it pushed up, right? Given that the CPI number was a little bit higher, not exactly cutting back but reducing the likelihood, reducing slightly the likelihood for the ECB to cut rates in its coming meeting. And that's why, you know, if you're not going to be cutting rates, then we're seeing a little bit more strength coming back into play on the euro dollar, pushing to the upside. Now, following on from that, at 8:30 p.m. GMT plus 8, we saw the US core PCE price in, can't highlight it. Okay, the US core PCE price index, it was 0.3, expected 0.3, got released at a 0.2. Core PCE price index is the Fed Reserve's primary inflation measure, right? Primary inflation measure, and given that it's gone from a 0.3, getting tongue-tied, from a 0.3 to a 0.2, what we saw as a result of that news was, well, we had that trend line this way before, right? We saw on release it broke, well, this was the euro pushing up. That's why we saw the dollar pushing down, and then on release of the news, dollar index went from 104.63 down to 104.40, found that swing level and bounced back up within the night. Okay, so take that away. So that's why we saw that weakness on the dollar following our session, right? On the session, we were at this point thinking that we could see it push up to test that area before pushing back down or breaking through, but it didn't happen. The euro came in, pushed the dollar index down, and then it pushed it further to the downside. Yes, Neymar, your prediction was correct at 0.2% for core PCE, and yes, that's why we saw the dollar index push down. And Neymar has been quite on track. I think you spotted the inverted head and shoulder here on the, what was it, this one here, the inverted head and shoulder here on the dollar index, which led to that push to the upside. And also now this time the core PCE price index at 0.2%. So you're on a roll. You are on a roll right now. Let's keep it going. I'll be looking out for further predictions to come from you. All right. Now that's what's happened, and we had GDP for the Canadians was 0.2, dropped down to 0%. GDP month on month for the CAD, and that's why we saw it push to the downside. Well, that blip there, I'll zoom in a bit, that blip there on the CAD because of the alignment with the GDP number being released together with the dollar weakening. So it was supposed to push up slightly, it pushed up, and then the dollar continued to drag it back down again. All right, but if you are on the Discord channel, this morning I highlighted that we have a double bottom here on the US CAD at the support level of 1.36, and that's why we have that push to the upside there, looking for 30 pips to the upside, 20 pips stop loss from that double bottom. Okay, how many of you caught that? Do let me know. And so that's what has happened since the last time we spoke. Now through to today, like I said, a whole bunch of PMI numbers to be released. I'm not super keen on the PMI now, but I'll pay a little bit of attention to the US PMI because it was 49.2. It's expected to get to 49.8. If it gets a little bit higher, than forecasted, it goes into the expansionary phase of being over 50, which would be some level of good news for the US, right? It could bring about some strength to the dollar index if manufacturing PMI goes to the expansionary phase. Now, the difference between the final manufacturing PMI and the ISM manufacturing PMI, the ISM manufacturing PMI is from the Institute of Supply Management, technically you always pay more attention to the ISM manufacturing PMI numbers. Okay, so following on from that, for this week, don't feel like you have to rush into, I always say this, don't feel like you have to rush into any trades, because for this week we have CPI numbers to come for the Swiss, we have GLTS for the US on Tuesday, we have GDP for the Aussies on Wednesday, and then a whole series of news to be released with firstly the ADP non-farm employment change on Wednesday. Very importantly, the BOC, and look at this, the BOC with their interest rate decision, and they're looking, our forecast is indicating a rate cut scenario on Wednesday night at 9:45 p.m. GMT +8. We're looking at a potential rate cut to come from the BOC, the Bank of Canada, taking interest rates in Canada from 5 down to 4.75%. Right, 5 to 4.75. I'll tell you more about this on Wednesday during our stream, so make sure you tune in for that. And then through that on Thursday, we do have the ECB with their interest rate decision. And again, similar to the BOC, we are looking at a potential rate cut decision from the ECB, 4.5 down to 4.25. A 25 basis point rate cut expected from the ECB at this meeting. We were talking about this last week, saying that, hey, we are possibly thinking that the ECB could cut rates, but we're also thinking that might be a little bit too early. Right now, analysts in the markets are expecting or forecasting a potential 25 basis point rate cut to come from the ECB on Thursday evening at 8:15 p.m. GMT +8. So that's going to be interesting and something to watch out for. It seems like the central bankers are sick of waiting for the FOMC to cut rates. They're going ahead with their own rate cuts before the FOMC. So rate cut decision possibly to come from the BOC and also from the ECB, with the NFP to be released on Friday, the non-farm employment change numbers to be released on Friday for the US, together with employment numbers for the CAD on Friday as well. So a lot of news to be released for this week together, and it's not just small news. These are potential trend changing news, especially with interest rate decisions from the ECB and the BOC. I don't know how many times I've said it in the last 2 minutes now about a rate cut and interest rate decision, but those are the two big ones that I'll be watching for this week. Okay, but with all that said, with so much to look forward to, we still have to contend with, firstly, what's going to happen today. Sounds fair? If you can, just drop a ping. I just want to make sure that the chat is working and everything is going fine. Just let me know if it's all good. Just want to see that it's all working. Good. All right. Now, with that, then we'll look at the charts. Oh, one more thing is that with what we saw on Friday on the core PCE price index going from a 0.3 to a 0.2, on the CME Fed Watch tool, we actually saw that, right, 1 week ago, I think this was like 1.1% before, but 1 week ago, there was a small chance of a 0.9% that the Feds could hike rates, right? And I was telling you all that, hey, well, although there is a small chance, it's unlikely that they're going to hike rates. Now we are at, on the 12th of June, we're at a 99.9% chance that they're going to keep rates on hold, with a tiny 0.1% chance that they're going to cut rates. I can say that we're pretty much certain pretty much, as certain as trading could be, we're pretty much certain that the Fed Reserve will keep rates on hold at the upcoming meeting, right? Unless we see some massive changes, but it's another 9 more days to go to the news. I don't think it's going to change, or we don't have that much news to come out that could change that decision. Thanks for that, Jumarinas and Angel Case. Thanks for that, Matt. Hey, Spiros, how you doing? Hey, Ahmed. Good morning. So now with that pretty much decided that they're going to keep rates on hold, looking at the dollar index, I've moved that trend line that we had that was like that. I've moved it down this way, right? Just so that we find this bottom here together with this. Trying to avoid drawing too many things. And then now finding that bottom here on Friday. That 61 is broken. We can take that away. Let's take those away for now. Okay, so we found that this trend line has been holding quite strong for the dollar index, together with that swing level at 104.40. I just like it. It's a nice round number there. And it's bounced off. Now looking at this and the dollar index pushing up slightly, we have it at 38.2, approaching 38.2. Well, it's bounced back up, came back down slightly, now pushing back up again. And we have that. All right. I'm looking at that point there. That's a dotted line. So what I'm looking at here on the dollar index, let's expand that out. Okay. Today, being we're in June already, 3rd of June. Dollar index, core PCE price release, looking for reaction at that point. We did see a reaction there, we saw it drop. But we did see a reaction at 104.40, bouncing off that swing level and that trend line pushing higher. Right now, what I'll be looking for is that it breaks above that 38.2 level to rise towards the 61.8. Okay. So core PCs, nope, not that anymore. We're looking at the dollar index to trade higher, breaking above, no, we're looking for it to break above 104.70 to trade higher towards 104.90. All right, to break towards the 104.90. To the upside. Neymar saying a small inverted head and shoulder again, with the 8.2 being the neckline. A skewed, I would tilt my head this way and say it's a skewed inverted head and shoulder, where you would have that, and that. I wouldn't exactly call it a head and shoulder unless you're talking about that and that. Yeah, and that would be a small one, I would say. All right, so we have that neck line there, that way. So yes, a bit of a very small inverted head and shoulder there. That's why I'm looking for it to break above, not that's why, but you know, good spot there. I'm looking for it to break above that 38.2 to push up towards that 104.90 level. All right, and that one is the 38.2 together with the higher level at 61.8%. What am I doing? There we go. Breaking up, Could it go up to 105? Maybe, but I think that it might be something for tomorrow. Today might see a little bit of a muted move for now. Okay, but yes, looking for the upward push. Now with that, look at the CAD. I have my take profit at 30 pips. I'm going to let it run towards the take profit. This is one of the few times I have my trade open during the stream, but we're looking for that to push up due to the double bottom. If it breaks past that point, we'll talk about it later. Kiwi dollar, talked a lot about this. We had that head and shoulder pattern. It didn't break that neckline. In fact, it rose strongly to the upside, so it did not trigger that trade. Take that away. But what I'm looking at here is that it's coming back within this range, right? So the range hit bottom, top, bottom, kept within the range, broke out, came back in, now formed a lower high, and it's pushing back down again. What I'm looking for here would be that 38.2 level to break. If it breaks below this point, again, looking for that dollar strength. 6130. Yes, 6130. Stop loss no more than 20. I think 20 is generous. And then take profit would be a good down to 40 pips to the downside. Right, so a test, reject, back down. 6130. Stop loss 20, take profit 40 to the downside. Then, so that's straightforward. Then onto the Aussie. All right, you would have seen this push up. Could have entered a trade there, but you shouldn't. This was at 8 o'clock on Friday. You shouldn't enter before the news, right? Then the next moment it pushes up. You could have entered there and came back down and hit a stop on your Aussie dollar, stop loss on your Aussie dollar at 20 pips, right? We saw it push up before coming right back down again. Dollar index did that. It pushed down, found a support, and bounced right back up. So now with that, I would say that it's again very similar to the Kiwi where it's pushing back down. Stop loss, well no, entry is a small trade. It's going to be small. I don't want to get in before that. What I would be looking for is only if it breaks below that point. I might even be looking at 6625. Stop loss 20 pips. Take profit, I'll go for 65 to the downside, this point, with a hesitation at 6595. Right, so looking for that rejection to break that cluster there. So 6625, 20 pips, so 65 to the downside. Looking to sell at 0.6625, stop loss 20, take profit 65 to the downside with a hesitation at 6595. Right, with a hesitation at, oh, what is this? Okay, no. All right. Sorry, I just had a spam message. Hesitation at 6. No, I was on Twitch. You guys didn't see it, but I was on Twitch. Came in at a spam message there. Threw me off my train of thought. Let me see. 6595. 595. Okay. There we go. Brilliant. I like that. I like that. These are two relatively straightforward setups that we're looking for. Yen pushing to the upside again. This was where we were This was where we were well, not yesterday, on Friday. It felt like yesterday that I spoke with you guys. But this is where we were on Friday. We ended the session right at that point, and I was looking for it to push up. It spiked up. But I didn't get into that trade, didn't see it pushing all the way, saw the dollar index sitting around there. So I didn't get into that. And you see that the yen, what you should notice from the yen here is that it seems to be struggling to push up, right? It seems to be struggling to have a good upside. And in fact, if you looked at this last hour dollar index pushing up, the yen has not been pushing up. It should have been dragged up by the dollar, but in fact it's still pushing or still sitting along this 157, around this 157 level. So I would say that I wouldn't do anything on the yen now. I might even be looking for it to trade lower. Then I'll be looking for a potential bounce and push off from this, drag this right across, this support level. Right, and you've seen it bounce off several times now already. So we look for that to test and bounce off. So what it looks like is that I'll be looking at 156.75, stop loss 20 pips, 25 pips, take profit 60 pips to the upside. Right? If it pushes up, I find that it's a very weak position up here. Right? The last time it came here, it spiked right back down again. So even if it does push up, I'll be looking for selling opportunities back down, or if it comes down to the support, I'll look to buy it up. So this would be the one that I'll be looking for right now, would be, okay, I'll put that two in first, let me see. Or look for that rejection. So we're looking at either to sell it back down from the resistance of 25 pip stop loss, 50 pip take profit, or all the way back down 120 to the downside. We'll be looking for that, or I'll be looking for it to come down, test, and bounce back up. All right, I like that one first. Looks like a more likely scenario. 156.75, 25 pip stop loss, 60 pip take profit to the upside. We're looking at buying it up from 156.75, stop loss 25, take profit 60 pips to the upside. All good so far? Let me know. You see dollar index pushing up. Yen still holding there, that's why I'm looking for that to trade lower. Now pound dollar, we were looking for that test and reject. It tested and rejected, but didn't go low enough. Did not go low enough to break down. So take that away. That double bottom worked out nicely to push up. I think it got up to that 61.8 level. Right, tested and rejected 61.8, and it's showing some downside potential, especially if the dollar does strengthen. It's going to be a bit tricky at this point because it is on that trend line, a short-term trend line. It's holding right there. I wouldn't try and trade it down. 1.2724 to 1.268 or 1.2690, quite a small space to try and trade down, only about 35 pips. I would instead be looking for a selling position, same thing as what we spoke about on Friday, I think 1.2680. Stop loss tight, no more than 15 in fact. I think 15 will be reasonable. Take profit will be down to 35 to the downside. Okay, so we can have that. If you wanted to take a little bit more risk, you could be looking at 1.2715, stop loss 15 or stop loss 20, take profit down to 30, and then possibly down to 70 to the downside. But I think that we have a bit of earlier entries here on the Aussie and the Kiwi. I think that you could just wait a little bit, do the Aussie and the Kiwi first, ideally, and then follow on with that with the pound dollar to the downside. Okay, so that's how I would plan or stagger the trades. 1.2680, 15 to 35 to the downside. There we have it. 1.2680, 15 to 35 to the downside. Not 70. I mean, 75 could be possible, but I think that'll be down here. I think we look for that first move, that first target. Okay. Make sense? All good. All right, now on to the euro, and this is only for, we're looking at these for today, right? I do know, like we spoke about earlier, there are a lot of news to be had later into the week especially, so it's more likely or quite possibly that we might see it sit in a bit of consolidation or spike before further moves or bigger moves later into the week. Spiros with a head and shoulders on the pound dollar on H4. Let's have a look at that. Pound dollar on an H4 time frame. Yes. Shoulder. Well, shoulder, neckline, head, neckline, shoulder, forming. If it breaks, and then we're going to see that big move down, ideally. Right, so yes, thanks for spotting that. Head and shoulder on the H4 time frame on the pound dollar. The neckline is exactly where we are looking at as well. So we do want it to break, and then we could see further downside. This could be one of those trades that you get into thinking that you make 35. As it drops, you move your stop loss to break even, you move your take profit lower, and then you move your stop loss to protect some profits, and then you move your take profit lower and lower again. So this could be starting off it could start off as a small trade leading into a nice big trade to the downside. All right. Thanks for spotting that, Spiros. Then, oops, what did I do there? Let me take that away. Then on to the euro. Remember ECB with a possible rate cut decision this week. Expected that, didn't happen, take it away for now. 50, that one's done, take that away. Now looking at this from the bottom to the top. 50 is there, 38 is there. We see it retrace to 38.2, set there, now pushing lower. And this is an interesting point right there. Right, we've seen a lot of reaction along this 1.0845 level. If it does break out of this brief consolidation, right, you see a brief consolidation here. If it does break out of this brief consolidation, we could see further downside again. 1.0840 seems a little bit too near. I would say 1.0835. Stop loss 20, take profit, you have 20, or you can have 45 to the downside. I kind of like that. I kind of like that as a start for this couple of days, and then with the euro coming out, with the ECB coming out with the rate decision, maybe we're going to see big downside move as well. Okay, and that is back to the 61. So what I would, if I can plan the markets, what I would like to see for today and tomorrow and the next couple of days will be for it to come down. Well, to do that, test, break, trade lower down to Thursday. And then on Thursday, which is at this point here, ECB news release comes out, and then we see that happen with a rate cut decision back down to the support. Okay, take that away. So that's the plan for the Euro 108.35, 20 pip stop loss, 45 pip take profit to the downside. Very dollar strength bias right now, so I'm just watching out for that as well. 1.0835, 20 to 45. 1.0835 stop loss, 20 take profit, 45 to the downside. Still sitting there, that makes sense, that's okay, still sitting there. Then onto the Sweezy, did not do that because we saw the dollar push down, so take that away. But what you should notice here is that we are approaching, well, it's finding that support, which you can see it bounced off strongly on 3rd of May to the upside. It bounced off on the 16th of May to the upside. Now finding that support again, if that dollar does strengthen, we could see this push up. You're looking at a 9040. You could do 30 pips, you could do 60 pips to the upside that way. Dollar strength, bounce off. We're looking for a test and reject of that support to bounce off. Okay, 0.9040, 30 pip stop loss, 60 pip take profit to the upside. Well, I have one L there. We're looking to buy it up at 0.9040, stop loss 30, take profit 60 to the upside. Okay, that needs to work out. But even if, what I'm thinking is that even if it holds, what could happen here on the dollar index would be that it fails to break, bounces off, and does that. But I think very likely we're going to see it break and push to the upside. Then on the USCAD, it's coming close to that 30 pips. I'm going to leave it to run and hit that 30. Anyone else did that together with me on the double bottom, do let me know. Take that away. That was on the Discord channel already. I'll keep it there for now because I'm going to post it later. That one's done. Take that away. That one, we drag it all the way down. It's coming to the 38.2 level. That's why it's hesitating a little bit. That did not trigger. Take that away. And that we're going to drag it down. Right. I might be looking to drag this up and then move that stop loss, but I'll see how that works out first. I want to see it break past that point. So I'll possibly, or not possibly, what I'm going to do on this trade for the US CAD would be to let it close out. To let it close out at a take profit of 30 pips. Right, and then if it breaks past that point, I could look to trade it up. The only thing I don't like about this is that it's right in the middle. All right, it's right in the middle of that support level and that top of the resistance there. So if it does continue to push up, then what I'll be looking at is 1.3675, stop loss 20, take profit 45 to the upside towards that trend line. So a continuation, a double bottom, right? And then a continuation to the upside. No major news today apart from the PMI numbers, which is fine. Okay, I like that. So I'm looking for that to push up. that trade is done. Don't get in now. I think it's too early. Too early to get in for this setup and too late to get in for this setup. So if you miss that, it's done. Wait for it to break past 1.3665. I would look to get in at 1.3675, 20 to 45 to the upside. All right, I'll buy at 1.3675, stop loss 20, take profit 45. Take profit 45 to the upside. What if the dollar doesn't break at 38.2? At what point do you think of a dollar to break? To think it's gonna weaken. If it breaks this, point, then I would say that we could see further downside. So this would be the point that I would think, right, dollar weakness. If it breaks past this, then I would think that we could see further dollar weakness. Okay. So even if it does weaken now, I would say that I'll look for it to test and bounce back up, or shoot up from here. Only when it breaks past this point, then I would say that we could see further downside on the dollar, just because it's tested once and twice and bounced off from this, once, twice, and 3 times and bounced off from this point. Okay. Have I done that one? Yes, okay. Then on to gold. All right. Wasn't super keen on gold. We talked about it. We said slight downside from 23.38 to 23.28. No worries there, Neymar. It did push down from 23.38 down to 23.28, went a little bit lower than that to 23.16, and then now forming that bit of a rejection. Those 2 candles there showing a bit of a rejection of that downside, pushing back up. I would be a bit cautious of that push, right? Because dollar index, we're thinking that it's going to push up. We're thinking that the dollar index should strengthen, and if the dollar does strengthen, then we should be looking at this pushing back down again. So what I would be thinking is that if gold fails to break above, take that point, if gold fails to break above 23.30, we could see it reject. I would say, what looks like might happen is it's tested, or it might do that and then push back down again. So gold, essentially what we're looking at is below 23.30. Well, no, could retest 23.30. Could retest and reject 23.30 and trade down to 2300. All right, so test and reject 23.30 to trade down to the 230608 level, to the 2308 level. Hey Lingopedia, I'm a little bit late. I just covered gold. Now I think that would be it. And there we have it, short and sharp for today. Well, mainly not a lot of news for today. I think that we're going to see a lot more action later into the week. You can see that the Swiss manufacturing PMI, well, the Spanish came in at 54, the Italians came in at 45. And it's going to be a mixed bag of PMI numbers. I'm not super keen on it at this point. The only thing I'll pay a bit of attention to will be the ISM manufacturing PMI for the US later tonight. Okay. Any questions at this point? Anything you want to ask? Put into the chat. Let me know. Happy to take your questions. If not, then we're gonna call an early end to the session. So let me know if you got any questions. Alrighty. So with that said, please remember, if you haven't already, the links are in the description for the Discord channel, for the whole, everything is all the links are in the Discord and the descriptions below. Do join us on Discord, and if you haven't already, join us there. Click on the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you all tomorrow, same time, same place. Take care now. Bye bye.